Welcome back to How to Souls. My name is Rach and today we are taking on the big boy and the little boy, Ornstein and Smough. This is a class guide for Dark Souls Remastered as the warrior kind of class. Now by that I mean we're using a sword and a shield, your sort of classic Dark Souls build. So just before we go and actually tackle the boss fight, I'll quickly go over our build. Like I mentioned, I'm a sword and board character, so I've got decent vitality, endurance, strength is only at 30. We could push that higher eventually, but the main thing is in our weapon. So my claymore here is a two-handed sword. It's at plus 10. You kind of want to be about plus 10 before you rock up to ONS, because if you start hitting them with like a plus 2, you're gonna have a terrible time. Now, there's obviously two types of weapons in this game. There's like regular Titanite weapons, and there is like twinkling Titanite weapons and boss weapons and stuff like that. So when I say plus 2, I mean like a regular weapon. If you have managed to get like a black knight sword or something like that, like a twinkling Titanite weapon, that's different. Those are great. You'll be fine. I mean, ideally you want it to be plus 5, but level up your weapon, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. I do have a shield. I've got the crest shield. Now this shield is pretty decent in terms of stability. Obviously, if you have the strength for it, 50 strength, go ahead and use something like a great shield. That's going to be even better. Just looking at the weight, I'm going to go ahead and pop on the heater shield for this fight. And I am equipped with the Elite Knight armor, which has pretty good defense. It's quite heavy though, but we do have the endurance to compensate. Last but not least, we have a pyromancy flame. Now this is to use power within. Pyromancy is really cool in this game because it doesn't require any stat investment. All you do is level up the pyromancy glove. However, I'm not actually using any pyromancy at all, so we're just keeping this pyromancy glove unedited, unaltered, unleveled for use with power within. So power within is going to give me 40% damage boost for 100 seconds at the cost of me losing 1% of my health per second. So I'm going to need to really doubly keep an eye on my health. This is like a risk reward kind of strategy, and if you are taking a lot of damage from ONS, obviously it is then going to put the pressure on you to find more windows to heal, and maybe you don't like that kind of playstyle, but it is just an extra thing that is going to help us really burn down one of them as fast as possible so we can make it a one-on-one fight. If you don't know how to get this, I do have a video on how to get it and you can check it out in the cards above now. And just also to point out, I do have some gold pine resin, which I will be using as well, just to further buff my damage. You can apply gold pine resin to something like the claymore. However, if you're rocking a twinkling titanite weapon, such as the black knight sword or something similar, they cannot be buffed with gold pine resin. So if it's not working, that's why. But we have it, so we're gonna use it. This is a boss where you kind of want to go all out. So if you're like, oh, okay, I could get me some gold pine resin, all you have to do is touch the little white ring to get back to Sen's Fortress, and then go back through Sen's Fortress. And then once you're back in Firelink Shrine, you're looking for Domhnall of Xena. He's under the bridge, the sort of viaduct bridge. You have to jump across to him. He sells gold pine resin. Right, so as for bonfire, you'll notice I'm in the bonfire with the brass firekeeper. This is for a couple of reasons. Number one is that you don't have to kindle it. It's already at +1, so we'll have 10 Estus flasks. The next is, in my opinion, it's kind of the safest run back to the boss. You do have to roll through the two sort of giant soldiers at the gate, but other than that, you don't have to fight any silver knights. So if the silver knights are giving you a bit of bother, this is a bit of a safer bonfire. However, it is a lot slower, as you can see from me standing here waiting for the elevator. So that's why I do have a video, which I'm going to direct you to now if you want to pause this one. And it is on, in my opinion, the best way to like progress on ONS. It involves using the bonfire inside the castle with the one that Solaire is at, if you remember seeing him, just after the Anolondo archers. There's a jump you can make if you jump off the stairs. You have to fight like one silver knight and that's it. It's a tricky jump and it can take some time to master, which is why I'm not doing it in this video, but that is a better way if this long run back is annoying you. One thing I did obviously forget to mention is that a big way that you can really even the odds with this fight is simply by bringing along someone else. 2v2 is much better than 1v2. So if you navigate to this staircase right here, obviously I've killed all the enemies, but I recommend killing them because you want Solaire to be distracted. So you can summon Solaire, who will come and help you, and his strength is in distraction tactics. So he will hopefully keep Ornstein or Smough busy while you DPS the other one down. So Ornstein and Smough, what we're going to do is we're going to buff ourselves before we go in. I took a bit of damage because I'm a pleb, so I'm already down 1 essence. We're gonna buff with power within and then switch back to our shield. The idea with this boss is you have to focus on one of them, and in my opinion, the one that is easiest to focus on when there are two of them in phase 1 is Ornstein. He's much faster, he'll quite often dash to you, making it easy to slowly or hopefully quickly chip away at him. While Smough, it can be like controlled by getting him stuck on pillars, and also he's just much slower in general. So that's the plan. We take down Ornstein, and then phase 2 with just Smough is a piece of cake. So time for the actual fight. Let's go. Buff yourself with power within. Gold pine resin, whatever you've got. Phase 1 is where we're gonna want to have big damage, so the first time you fight them, you get this nice little cutscene, and the two of them act relatively normal. However, do bear in mind, if it's the second or further time that you are fighting them, Ornstein likes to bug out a little bit. He'll do this like crazy charge attack at you. As soon as you go through the fog wall, just have your shield up and ready to deal with that. Sometimes he can get like stuck on Smough, and it's a bit mental. I've seen it all, guys. I've seen it all. It's a bit mental. But yeah, so you can block most of Ornstein's attacks, no bother with your shield. Now, I get stuck in a little corner of the room here, which is not ideal. But if this happens to you and Smough is doing a charge attack, it's actually a good idea to go in close to him, because his hammer has a big long stick. So if you're in close to him, you won't get hit by the brunt of the hammer. So our armor should be able to handle that. Speaking of armor, you'll see me get hit a few times here in phase 1. Phase 1 is hard. You're fighting two guys at once. They're both attacking at once. You can use the pillars to control Smough somewhat. This is why I do think it is easier to focus on Ornstein first. Obviously, the order that you kill them in does matter, because it is the soul that you get and the armor that you get after it. So if you're going for platinum, bear that in mind. You might want to do Smough first on New Game Plus. So yeah, you're fighting two guys at once. You want to keep them in your line of sight at all times, which is tricky. It's tricky. We're trying to heal, we're trying to buff. Ornstein can hit through the pillar, so can Smough. And it seems like every time you stop and try and heal, you just get hit for it. So you have to kind of find that balance of like, wait for your moment of opportunity, be really patient, be aware of your surroundings, don't get stuck in a corner of the room. See, Ornstein is busy, Smough is busy, great time to heal. My Estus is only at +1, so that's an error that I have made. Hopefully yours is at +2 or 3 or even higher. Okay, so Ornstein at range likes to do a charge, likes to do these lightning spear attacks. I recommend blocking his physical attacks. I wouldn't recommend blocking his lightning bolts unless you have no other choice, because you will still take a decent amount of damage. His close range attacks, they can be combos if you're close up enough to him. Always expect him to follow up with a combo. I knew I would be able to poise through this one and DPS him down, but do be aware that if you're on low health, you might not be able to stagger him depending on your weapon. Smough, we're never going to be close range with Smough in phase 1. We're always going to be looking to have him at arm's length. Phase 2 is another thing entirely. So phase 2, he has all the same moves as phase 1, plus one more. He's absorbed the soul of his fallen companion, and now he is charged with lightning. The charge is the same as before. He will do this new attack, this butt stomp attack. So right here, so when you're up close range with him, you can manipulate him to always do this attack. So what I like to do for Mega Smough is I like to dodge this, move back in, get one hit, or I guess more if you've got a fast weapon. But I don't know, don't push it. And then avoid the next hit. So if you start moving immediately, and then as Smough is at the apex of his jump, so by that I mean he's at the top and he's about to start coming down, we quickly roll backwards. So here I'm gonna raise my shield a couple times just to show you that if you're not too sure on the timing for the roll, you can simply bring your shield out and block it. But as you can see, I was still taking a decent amount of damage. So that's the loop for Mega Smough. It's super easy. But just in case he starts doing other attacks, those are here. So he has an overhead attack, which is very easily dodged simply by rolling to the side or even moving to the side. It's really slow and it's not got tracking. And he has sweeping attacks. Now this can be a combo, bear that in mind, but here he just did it once. The sweeping attack is very easily avoided simply by rolling towards Smough, like through it, or in this case I was far enough away because I was trying to get this charge attack. The charge attack is his scariest attack. Oh, also we have a jumping forward attack. You want to dodge to the side for that as well, but bear in mind, depending on how far away from him you are, just dodge backwards. Here we go. So you see me running forwards into him, into between his legs, because the hammer, like I said before, is on a long stick, so it will completely pass you by. If you can manage to hit him while he is jumping away, you'll do critical damage to him, which is pretty cool. We're just going to get him back into his butt stomp routine here. So does that, drop to the side, and then another butt stomp and a roll. And that was Mega Smough. So if you're dealing with Mega Ornstein, obviously that's a completely different kettle of fish. If you're interested in learning how to fight Mega Ornstein, it's a little bit different. He's a little bit harder to control.
Then this is something I will be covering in a future video. We're actually going to change the way that I'm doing these videos going forward and having them as like one full run with a lot of editing rather than lots of individual boss videos. So hopefully that's something that you guys prefer because they're much more fun to make.
And with their demise comes your prize. Now we can go upstairs, meet Guinevere, get the Lord Vessel, and gain the ability to warp between some bonfires, which is huge. Congrats, that is the hardest boss in the game for the time in the game that you fight them. Definitely. Hopefully my guide was able to help you. If it did, don't be shy, give us a like. Subscribe to see more Dark Souls videos and other Fromsoftware titles. And I'll see you in the next video.